Foldable phones? They've been around for a few years now, but I think we're finally at a point where they're becoming genuinely practical. And the phone I've been testing for the past couple weeks? The Huawei Mate X7. This thing has honestly surprised me in ways I didn't expect. It's not perfect, but it's made me rethink what I actually want from a smartphone. Anyway, let's dive in and see if this is the foldable you've been waiting for. But if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more exciting tech reviews and updates. First, let's talk about how this thing actually feels in your hand, because that's where foldables either win you over or totally lose you. The Mate X7 has what Huawei's calling their Ultra Slim Hinge 2.0, and honestly, it's kind of remarkable. When this phone is folded, it's surprisingly thin. We're talking around 9.5 millimeters. That might not sound revolutionary, but pick up some other foldables, and you'll notice the difference immediately. It actually fits in your pocket without feeling like you're carrying a small book. The hinge itself feels solid. There's this satisfying click when you fold and unfold it, and it stays put at pretty much any angle you want. I've been using it propped up for video calls, and it just holds its position without creeping closed. That's the kind of thing you don't think about until you're using it daily. Weight-wise, yeah, it's heavier than a regular phone at about 236 grams, but it's well balanced. It doesn't feel awkward or top-heavy. The back has this brocade texture finish. I know some people aren't into that, but I actually really like it. It's grippy, it doesn't show fingerprints, and it gives the phone a bit of personality. There's also a vegan leather version if that's more your style. And here's something I really appreciate: IP58 and IP59 dust and water resistance. Getting water resistance on a foldable is still pretty rare, so being able to use this in the rain or even high pressure and hot temperature water without panicking, that's a big deal for everyday use. Now the screen, because let's be real, that's the whole point of getting a foldable, right? The Mate X7 has a 6.4 9-inch cover display with 3000 nits peak brightness, and when you unfold it, you get this gorgeous 8-inch internal screen. Both are LTPO OLED with 120Hz refresh rate, so everything just feels smooth and responsive. What really impressed me is the crease, or rather, how minimal it is. Every foldable has a more visible crease down the middle. That's just physics. But on the Mate X7, you really have to be looking for it to notice it. When you're actually using the phone, watching videos, scrolling through social media, your brain just kind of filters it out. The screen tech has come a long way. The colors are vibrant, brightness is excellent even in direct sunlight, and the contrast is what you'd expect from a good OLED panel. I've been watching a lot of content on this thing, and it's genuinely enjoyable. That big inner screen turns your phone into a mini tablet, and for reading, gaming, or just browsing, it's a completely different experience than a regular phone. Powering the Mate X7 is Huawei's Kirin 9030 Pro chip, with 16GB RAM and 512GB of internal storage. Now I can already hear the question, what about Google services? Unfortunately, they're still absent. You'll be relying on Huawei's app gallery and side-loading apps when necessary. I completely understand if that's a deal breaker for you. However, if you're willing to navigate around it, using tools like MicroG services and Gbox to tap into the Google Play Store, the actual performance is genuinely impressive. Running graphically intensive games performs really well, apps fire up immediately, multitasking flows effortlessly, and I haven't encountered any slowdowns or stuttering issues at all. Now, speaking of performance, let me show you something really cool. Whenever I test a new phone, one of the first things I do is check the actual network speeds, because specs on paper don't always match real-world performance. And that's where today's sponsor comes in, Speed Test by Ookla. If you've ever wondered whether you're actually getting the internet speeds you're paying for, Speed Test is the gold standard for measuring your connection. I've been using it for a couple months, and it's the most trusted app for testing network performance worldwide. Here's what makes Speed Test essential. With just one tap, you get accurate measurements of your download speed, upload speed, and ping. Whether you're on Wi-Fi or mobile data, you'll know exactly what you're working with. And on a device like the Mate X7 with 4G plus connectivity for global version, seeing those real-world speeds is incredibly satisfying. But Speed Test goes way beyond just running a basic speed test. You can track your results over time with detailed history and statistics so you can identify patterns, like if your speeds drop at certain times of day. The coverage maps show you real network performance in your area based on millions of tests from actual users, which is way more reliable than those carrier coverage maps. There's also video testing to see how well your connection handles streaming, so you know if you can actually watch that 4K content without buffering. And the VPN testing feature lets you check how much your VPN is affecting your speeds. Super useful if you care about privacy but don't want to sacrifice performance. What I really appreciate is how clean and straightforward the interface. You're not drowning in ads or confusing metrics, just clear, actionable data about your connection. Plus, it works on basically every platform: iOS, Android, desktop, even your TV. So whether you're testing a new phone like this Mate X7, troubleshooting your home internet, or just curious about your connection quality, Speed Test by Ookla is completely free and available right now. Download it from your app store. You can even get it on the Mate X7 through the Huawei app gallery. Trust me, once you start testing, you'll understand why over 500 million people rely on Speed Test. The battery performance has genuinely impressed me for a foldable device. Huawei packed in a 5600 mAh silicon carbon battery, and it's been reliably lasting me a full day, even when I'm pushing it with moderate to heavy usage. That's with the larger display unfolded fairly often too, which typically drains batteries fast. Charging is equally impressive, with 66-watt wired fast charging, 50-watt wireless, and 7.5-watt reverse charging. You're looking at roughly 80% charge in about half an hour, which is really handy. The software is where Huawei has actually put in some interesting work. The live multitasking features are genuinely useful. You can run 3 multiple apps side by side, and there's this floating window feature that lets you keep apps accessible without fully switching screens. I've been using it for messages while watching videos, and it just works. Now let's talk cameras, because this is where the Mate X7 really steps up its game. You're getting a serious quad camera system here, a 50-megapixel main sensor with optical image stabilization and physical adjustable aperture, a 40-megapixel ultra-wide, a 50-megapixel telephoto with 3.5 times optical zoom, and an extra true-to-color camera that captures true-to-life colors. These aren't just decent specs on paper, they actually deliver in real-world use. The main camera is genuinely impressive. Photos come out sharp with excellent dynamic range, and the color science is on point. Not oversaturated like some phones, but vibrant and true to life. Low light performance surprised me too. Night mode produces clean shots with minimal noise, and you're not waiting forever for processing. That telephoto lens is a standout feature. With 3.5 times optical zoom, means you can actually get close to your subject without that muddy digital zoom look. I've been using it for everything from street photography to capturing details at events, and the results hold up even when you zoom in. There's also up to 100 times digital zoom if you really need it, though obviously quality drops off at the extreme end. The ultra-wide is solid for landscapes and group shots. There's minimal distortion at the edges, which is something ultra-wides really struggle with. One feature I've been using constantly is the cover screen selfie setup. Instead of using a mediocre front camera, you flip the phone around and use the main camera system while your subject sees themselves on the cover display. The quality difference is night and day. Portrait mode, low-light selfies, video shots, everything just looks better. It's one of those foldable specific advantages that you don't think about until you try it. Speaking of video, recording goes up to 4K at 60 frames per second, and the stabilization is really smooth. I've shot some walking footage and handheld clips, and they came out way steadier than I expected. Let me be straight with you about the Mate X7. This phone isn't designed to please everyone. If having Google services built in is non-negotiable for you, then this simply won't work, no sugarcoating it. However, if you're open to adjusting your workflow, or if you're already embedded in Huawei's ecosystem, this device is genuinely impressive. What stands out? The design feels premium and polished, the display is stunning with an almost invisible crease, and it genuinely feels like a mature product instead of an experimental device. Camera quality are great, battery performance holds up well, and the multitasking capabilities genuinely improve my daily usage. Here's the room for improvement. App selection remains restricted compared to standard Android devices. Things like Google Pay and Android Auto are missing. At 6,699 dirhams here in Dubai, this delivers some of the best foldable hardware I've experienced. Here's what surprised me. Over these past few weeks, I've been gravitating toward the Mate X7 more than my regular daily driver. There's something genuinely appealing about having that expansive display ready whenever you need it, while still maintaining true pocketability. It just aligns perfectly with my usage patterns. That wraps up my thoughts on the Huawei Mate X7. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this review, give it a like and subscribe for more exciting tech coverage. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out!